This is Have to Know History. History you just have to know. The Persian Empire was ginormous. At the time, it was the largest empire in the world. Started off in what's now Iran and then grew to this humongously huge empire that encompassed, what's now Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, parts of what's now India to, over to the west to Iraq and Syria and Israel and Egypt and Turkey. So basically, the Persian emperor, the Persian king, could say he was the king of kings. That's what he called himself. The ruler of the four corners of the world. Because, there were mountains that blocked his empire from China. Didn't even know China existed. Plus, you got a desert there. Plus, on the other side of the Indus River, you have another desert. So it didn't really know that India was there. And then you have the Egyptian area with the Sahara Desert. So after you conquer Egypt, what else is there? There's nothing. And then you got the grasslands in the north. So really, they thought they did control the world as they knew it. But there's one place they didn't control yet, and that was little Greece. Just a tiny little country compared to, well, at that time it wasn't even a country. It was just a collection of city-states that all kind of spoke the same language and had basically the same way of life. And so I think that bothered the Persians to know that there was this one place they didn't control yet. So what they did was the Persians went systematically through what's now Turkey, conquering different territories to get to Greece to be able to take that place for themselves. One of the kingdoms that they had to take was the kingdom of Lydia, led by this king named Croesus, who wasn't quite sure what to do about this situation. Do you surrender and just give up to the Persians? I mean, nobody wants to be part of somebody else's empire. You want to be free and independent. Or maybe it's a good idea to basically just attack the Persians real quick, like sting them, like a bee stings a bear as the bear tries to tear into the beehive. Maybe a couple stings and the bear will stagger away and try to find another beehive. Maybe if we attack the Persians, maybe that will lead to the Persians just maybe going away or leaving us alone or going around us to get to Greece. So King Croesus of Lydia wasn't quite sure what to do. He decided to go to the Oracle. The Oracle of Delphi was a place you would go to find out, what to do in a situation like this. So he asked the Oracle this question: should I attack the Persian Empire or not? What should I do in this case? Well, here's the thing. The Oracle had very confusing, cryptic answers. And there's a lot we don't know about the Oracle of Delphi, but we know enough to know that it lasted for a very long time, hundreds and hundreds of years. People would go to it to try to get advice or to try to solve problems or maybe predict the future. So it must have been accurate enough. The priestess there who would answer these questions. So he goes to the Oracle. At this place where the Oracle of Delphi is, archaeologists and historians are trying to figure out what made it so special. One of the things we think happened is there was a crack in the earth, probably from an earthquake or something, that allowed gases from the earth to come up and maybe make the priestess a little tipsy, maybe, So Croesus asked this question to the Oracle: should I attack the Persians or not? If you attack the Persians, a great empire will fall. That's the answer he got from the priestess. What do you do with that? Well, the Persian Empire is the biggest empire, the greatest empire in the world at the time. So, boys, we going to war, right? So Croesus decided to go to war against the Persians, sting them, see if it works, and gets the Persians to leave him alone. Unfortunately for King Croesus of Lydia, the great empire that fell was his own. The Persians basically steamrolled him and made him a puppet king in his own empire, and then they moved on to attack Greece. So I guess the moral of the story is never take advice from people who are high. Good life advice. So the Persians move on. They get to the western coast of what's now Turkey, the Ionian coast, and there are some Greek colonies there, Athenian colonies, that the Persians also take. And then eventually Athens decides to send some support, some troops to kind of help out with these Ionian colonists who were revolting against the Persians. And the Persians, of course, clobber them immediately. And then the Persians say, Athens, you shouldn't have. And this is going to lead to the Persian Wars with the Battle of Marathon. Anyway, quick little story about King Croesus of Lydia and his decision-making process. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.